this moment is you stepping out in faith to obey me in a way that I'm asking you to do, and it doesn't matter what anybody else is thinking about it. So as I walked from the gym outside to the pool, I began to literally weep, and I could feel the presence of God in that moment in a way that I didn't feel at 12, right? That I didn't even fully understand at the age of 12. So I think for people to understand that immersion and you understanding what is happening in the spiritual realm and then experiencing the manifestation of that presence in that moment, it's words don't even fully adequately describe it, but you have to know that literally what you're doing in this moment is just an outward expression of what God is doing in your life in the spirit realm. And that thing is going to transform you forever. And it's an act of obedience.
We literally brought this up in a meeting and said, we need to open this up, just like Sheena did last year. That's why we had 200 people baptized last year. It's because Sheena's obedience. I would say a quarter,
other people.
including me. And the funny thing is, what she just explained, I went through the same thing last year. I was like, I'm going to do it. I signed up for it. And the last minute, I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm too busy. I've got all this stuff. The day had been a crazy nightmare. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to walk up in front of us. They're going to think like, oh, Jason finally got saved, right? Like all this stuff. And I did it. And it was like an amazing moment. I got baptized when I was a kid. I really don't even remember it. And because of Sheena's obedience, it unlocked an opportunity for so many people to experience this in a whole new way.
Who felt like I already knew God, I already have a relationship, I've been saved already all my life. And even when you did that, I was watching and was like, why do you need to get rebaptized? And so that made the wheels turn in my head, thinking, okay, kind of like a one and done thing. Like, oh, you get once saved, always saved, once baptized, always baptized. But the thing about it is, if you don't really have a full understanding of it, or your understanding is a little bit warped, I guess, or or you just have the wrong understanding of what it is, or not a full understanding. Then when you come to a full knowledge of it, it changes the way you think about it. It changes the way you view it. It changes what it means to you.
And it's literally that understanding of religion versus relationship. I understood it from a religious aspect that once you get saved, now you go get baptized. It's just what you do. But at 40, I understood the relationship aspect of the fact that, wait, when I go down in this liquid grave, I'm literally rising with the full power of the same power that Jesus had when he got up out of the grave. And that same power, that same keeping power, that same saving power is manifested in my life so I can be dead to sin. Does it mean that I live a perfect life? No, because I'm human. And as long as I live, there is the propensity to sin, right? But there is that understanding that the same power that Jesus walked this earth in, and literally he was dead to sin. We have access to that same power. And so understanding that when you go down in that grave in that moment, again, yes, it's an outward expression, but there is a spiritual transaction that is happening in the spiritual realm that will become manifested in your life.
100%. And what I love in the video of me getting baptized is when I get in the pool, you hear Sheena say, "Come on, Jason." What a full circle moment. Like I'm literally in this pool because of Sheena. And she is there witnessing me, encouraging me in my moment. I was like, I could literally like
the person who
bawl.
encouraged you to go.
Literally like.
And it doesn't mean you never were saved. It doesn't mean the first one didn't take.
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
It's an act of obedience to the Father. And for me,
if you don't understand it,
y'all
it's
are not
different.
going to make me do this in here with y'all.
No, because
I walked through years of feeling like every time I fell that I wasn't saved.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what.
Because that word was spoken over my life as a child. That seed was planted in my heart as a child.
Right.
So the fact, and it was by someone who held a certain level of power in my life, right?
Yeah.
Their words had power, and that was spoken over my life as a child.
Yeah.
So for years, I wrestled with every time I erred, am I really saved?
Right.
Do I have to, receive Jesus again? Do I really have the indwelling of the Holy Spirit? Right? And I wrestled and fought for years, so much so to where when the Father actually helped me to understand that it was his love, not my perfection, not my not doing this or not saying this or not going here, not drinking that, but literally his love saved me. And that I'm good.
Yeah.
He recognizes our humanity.
Yeah.
That's why he sent Jesus. He knew we could never live a life of perfection. Yeah. He knew we could never live up to that standard. However, he said, you know what? My son, the perfect one, the one who knew no sin, will step in and pay the sin debt that you owe, because I already know what you're going to do. I already know that you can't uphold this standard that meets the qualification for you to be reconciled back to me. So I'll send my son to die on the cross that you should have been on, the cross that you should have been nailed to. I send my son to pay the sin debt for every sin that you did commit, have committed, are committing, or will ever commit. And it's done.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
I didn't understand it that way, but when I did, not only did it bring about a level of wanting to honor God in a different way, but it also helped me to understand that when sin comes and knocks at my door again, because I don't want to break the heart of God, I fight to flee it even the more versus just yielding and giving into it, because I don't want to break the heart of God because of the gift that he gave.
Yeah.
And the gift that he gave empowers us to fight.
It empowers us to fight. It empowers us to flee. It empowers us to say no. It empowers us to say, you know what? I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to
do that. Because the problem is some people act like, okay, when you get saved, you don't want to do this no more. Lies.
I want to.
I want to do that, but I make a choice not to because of the gift that he gave me.
Yeah, and I want him.
And how this
I want him more.
How this ties into where we are right now with our Christ story.
Yeah.
Like you getting baptized and performing that outward chart starts a new chapter or a new paragraph in your Christ story.
It does.
Right? It's hitting the tab. It's hitting the tab button.
Yeah.
This is a new thought, a new chapter, or a new.
It's new.
I can't, so I'm not trying to.
It's new.
Yeah.